unmasking the chilling secrets behind Celeste's tragic murder and David's sinister deeds.
She was under 14, and when she threatened to expose him and devastate his musical career, he invited her over to the Hollywood Hills home on April 23rd, and he killed her. That was the last time anyone saw her, last time any of her text messages went. That's the last proof of life, is him and her being in that house and never coming back. Remember, he didn't cut her body up for almost 2 to 3 weeks. Prosecutor claims David later cut up the body, stuffed it in 2 bags, and kept her remains in the trunk for over 4 months as the body decomposed. So I don't know if that's right or it's going to come out. I'm not going to argue with what they're saying, because even when you look at these reports, you got Nancy Grace saying this kid is full of methamphetamines, but really when you look at the toxicology report, it says methamphetamine and it says other things, but then it says inconclusive. He cut her fingers and one of her eyes out as well. We're going to get to all that, guys. I know you guys are ready for the gruesome details, but we're getting there. All right, so we got to that. Let me show you something before we get into anything. I kind of want to go over some of the creepy, weird stuff. All right, so I love this RD4 or David Idiots. And I don't know, is that you, Flojo? Do you own this group? I don't know who owns this group, but they do a fantastic job of whatever they do. Okay, so check this out. 3 things they noticed. Somebody sent me this yesterday. All right. So I just wanted to send this over. Almost all things weird, stupid, fascinating, and tedious about the David and his fall. All right. So keep it there. I wanted to show you guys this yesterday. Someone had pointed out that these weapons are in fact weapons and could have been used. All right. And then we see a 3D printed one that could possibly be. It says EDC hacksaw, and guys, that's a 3D print. You see that cairn right there? All you need is a part file. It's a file. It's like we call it part file. You know, I run a mechanical engineering company, right? You guys know that I've been working for and running a mechanical engineering company here in the Bay Area for the last 18 years. So I work with Apple, Facebook, Google. We 3D print all day long, all the time. So in order to do that, you have to have a part file that you put into your computer, and the part file will come out with a saw. Okay? Yeah, you know that. Krista knows that. A lot of you guys don't know that, but if you do, I could make that saw. I could make the weapon that, what was that guy's name that shot the healthcare guy? United Healthcare guy. He 3D printed his gun. All right. So all of this is going to be on his. I run a mechanical engineering company. I'm the COO or the managing director. All right. I am not a mechanical engineer, but I run the company. I don't need to know the software. I've been there so for damn long that, that's what I do. That's my job during the day. Yeah. The 3 grand juries face down in the trunk. Yeah. We're going to get to all that. Yeah. I don't. Mangione, yes. When I heard that Luigi Mangione 3D printed his stuff, I was like, damn, we were just talking about that. Yeah, however you spelled it's fine. So anyway, I was talking to my boss today about the 3D printed hacksaw, and he had a hacksaw on his desk because that's what we do. We're a company that makes, we use part files, we make stuff, we do what do you call that? I don't know. I'm using a stand right now. I'm literally using a stand that he 3D printed for me so that I can look at my phone while I'm talking to you guys. The other day, he 3D printed me some earrings. My boss is awesome. And he's making me another stand. He's just the coolest guy. You could make anything you want. We also have we have like some $80,000 machine that molds you can cut the steel parts. I can't think of the name of it, but we have a whole shop, guys. All right. Easy to do. You could melt it down afterwards and nobody would know. However, that trace of the part file is going to stay on the machine on, when I say the machine, the 3D printing machine, it's going to stay in your email if you downloaded it. It's going to be on the website where you downloaded it from. Da 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 da. Dude, everywhere. Traces everywhere. Member for 5 months. Thank you. Happy Friday, Rose. Good to see you. I know. I wish you were closer, Foxy. I was just thinking that today I needed to send you some stuff. I needed to print you or do some stuff. But yeah, we do all that. I mean, yeah, bongs like nothing. Prosthetics. We work with medical companies, Aerojet Rocketdyne, rocket companies, Northrop Grumman, all the companies, all the big companies. That's why I'm in Silicon Valley. All right. We just finished up Apple training this week for CAM, NX CAM, and CAM is different than like the mechanical engineering. It's more of building stuff on that side with machines. So anyway, yeah, you could 3D print a house frame. You could 3D print anything you want as long as you use the correct materials. Now, if you don't use the correct materials, well, then your saw is probably going to fall off into pieces of a cut wound that you're trying to saw something apart with. Just saying. All right. So this guy, this loser, my album drops tomorrow with Celeste stuff back there after she's dead, right? And I'm going to read the things that are weird about it. But this guy, man, I just don't understand. I can't comprehend this line of thought. So 3 odd things quickly that this person noticed. And I love this Reddit place over here just because it gives a lot of info. Number 1, the autopsy reported that there were blue plastic pieces found inside of Celeste's dismembered wounds. Now, she said, I saw a post earlier where someone mentioned 3D printed hacksaw, which is commonly used for cutting through bones of deer. It's also alleged she was dismembered on 5/5/25. David posted this TikTok on 5/17. I could be wrong, but doesn't it seem like these props are 3D printed? Another user mentioned that the hacksaw blades are commonly coated with blue paint. Agreed. All right. Now, second thing, on last year on 4/23/25, David posted his TikTok promoting the drop of his album. Now, that's the day she died. This is the alleged date of Celeste's murder. And the autopsy reports, guys, I got to tell you, if you don't already know, she had her tube top on. She was almost skeletal remains. And you're going to see some pictures with the tube top she's wearing before she dies. She's wearing that same tube top, but she was almost skeletal remains. She also had on her leggings, and underwear, and socks. No shoes. And in his TikTok, Celeste's shoes are literally in the background. All right? Literally in the background. 1, 2, 3. Right here. Her shoes are back here. Whatever pair of shoes she was wearing is back in that picture on the day she was alleged to be murdered and he dropped his album. Okay? If that doesn't tell you something about this monster, I don't know what does. Can you imagine? Now, I got to tell you, the family is just devastated. All right, I'll thank you guys in a second. I'll just take a quick thank you under your scar so very much for the $5 super chat. Emily, you remember for 16 months. It's okay. You're better. I'm glad you come back. Past perfect. Remember for 8 months, he felt untouchable. Yep. Making people rich. I mean, even his brother is turning on him. He says all pedos should die. All right. Thank you for what you do. I'm being a member for 5 months. Thank you. All right. There's a video of David washing the sneak. Yep. I've seen all of that. I can sit here for 3 hours today talking to you about all the creepy shit that he did behind the scenes. But I want to dedicate this episode to Celeste and us really knowing who Celeste was and seeing who she was and understanding that this is not about David, but it is because of who he is. This is about Celeste Rivas and getting justice for her and the other children that have been raped by this monster. All right. Now, another user mentioned David is wearing the head wrap that Celeste wore in the previous photo. They say, I can't find it, but there's a photo of her at the concert wearing it. From what I've seen, David only started regularly wearing the head wrap, specifically after her date of death. All right. So you guys see what's going on here. We can go through this for hours and I wouldn't be done. All right. I would not be done even if it were for hours. Now we're going to do a quick recap. Hold on. Let's do a quick recap of what the hell happened and what's going on while I set everything else up. Thank you guys.
David did appear in the courtroom today, a year to the date from when prosecutors say that Celeste was killed by him. I'm going to break down what went down in the courtroom today. Before I get into that, there were a lot of people in the comments asking why David appeared at his arraignment in regular clothes and not an orange jumpsuit. This is common for people who are in the early stages of court proceedings, such as how David is. The court allows them to
Now, this was on 4/23, which is yesterday. He had orange jumpsuits on, so I'm wondering what? Why is he saying maybe he's just taking the picture from the first court date? Because yesterday, guys, he had his orange scrubs on. All right. Oh, God. Discord. Yes. Discord. Oh, my God. So many things, guys. I'm not on a break. What are you guys talking about? Did I take a break? Something happened? What are you referring to?
Wear street clothes, which is just everyday clothes, so that there's not a presumption of guilt in the courtroom when he's first seen. It's argued that if he were to enter the courtroom for the first time already dressed like a criminal, that makes people in the courtroom assume he is a criminal, and that goes against the whole motto of innocent until proven guilty. Today, however, since David has been formally charged, he did appear in the courtroom shackled and in an orange jumpsuit. And during today's court proceeding, prosecutors said that they went through David's phone and found a significant amount of child sex material. This was footage that David was creating, and based on the fact that we know that he has other minor victims in addition to Celeste, I'm assuming that the videos and the photos were not just of her. This is part of the reason why he is being charged with lewd and lascivious sexual acts with a person under the age of 14.
Now I see people in chat saying who's worse, this guy or Stearns. I'm gonna have to say that David is much worse, because David had the capability to reach out to my daughter, to your daughter, to your grandchildren, to these people's kids, to my neighbor. David had access to these little girls, and he wore pink shoes, and he dressed kid-like, and he did things to attract children. And when David was trying to attract Celeste, allegedly in the beginning, they have all of those. They have all the law enforcement. I've found text messages where he's just meeting Celeste, and David goes into one of the, maybe it's a Discord or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, is Celeste here?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm here." And she answers back like a little kid. She was 11 when that happened, and then she turned 12 by the time he really was grooming her, and definitely by 12, 13, he was already graping her.